awards last night we referred to at the start of the programme. Social media as ever, full, brimming with positivity. I'm surprised, hashtag deport Johnny Davidson, hashtag sack Ken Davey, this, that and the other, probably. I didn't start, that wasn't me. Did you go to the awards when they were in Salford a couple of years ago before
2019?
Before the COVID, were you there?
I was.
So that was their
and
first.
There was one at Manchester, wasn't there? There was. Oh no, was that a season launch? I can't remember. Anyway,
there was the one at Salford.
We used to have events where we could dress up in penguins.
Yeah.
That Lancashire County Cricket Club. That's where they used to.
The one where they invited the general public, the great unwashed,
They did
to
be
alongside the stars, and I think was that one of the creative director's ideas. It must have been, mustn't it?
I think so.
I don't know how much of a success it was, and you can't take 1 year and say, "Wait, it didn't work in 2019."
It seemed to be good. Seemed to go. I mean, probably the highlight was Phil Clark being booed when he came on stage by a lot of people. But yeah, that was the year Jackson. Obviously, Salford made us the grand final. Jackson Hastings was Man of Steel, and Courtney Hill was Woman of Steel.
So obviously last year, it was
lockdown.
Brian Carney's front room,
which was fine. Understood.
It was nice to have a look into Brian Carney's house. This year, Mansion. That must be the Gaelic football money, because you can't get on the Super League, can you? The hurling. So that was last year, 2020. 2021. Look, we're back in the studio.
It's more than a awards studio.
We need a board saying Super League awards on the back.
Could have done it here.
Yeah. Cheap.
It certainly was cheap.
So it was on last night, and it was on telly, and it didn't look great, did it? I mean, it's not something that's been televised, has it, over recent years, I seem to remember. Because I seem to remember the year in which the embargo got broken and everyone got upset. That wasn't on telly.
They have had the highlights,
yes.
And they have had some of them live. And it's great that we recognise our players, but you have to do it in a respectful way. And I have to say that the cheapest cost-cutting measures that they used last night were the complete antithesis to those that were being lauded. I don't get it, because as you pointed out, there are studios they could have gone to. They could have taken a cameraman to Brian Carney's house or his local golf club and filmed it there. It looked horribly cheapened.
I mean, it's a long time since I was at university learning how to make things like this. But when the start of the programme is Brian Carney leaning into his camera just to see if it was working, I thought it wasn't the best of start. I'm not blaming him. I'm not blaming whoever at Sky put it together.
Know what Brian Carney really thinks, because I think when he looks back on that, he'll go, "Not sure we did that the best way we could have." His questions are great. The recipients seem to be all the right people winning the awards. I don't think there was any dispute.
There was no surprise. I mean, Sam Tompkins was light years ahead of
Absolutely.
Jack Wellsby.
Jodie Cunningham.
Yeah, they've won 2 of the 3 main trophies, and they're in the grand final.
Don't think there was any problem.
But Jack Wellsby stand out. I'm just trying to think who was Coach of the Year. Obviously,
Don't think you can argue with that either.
No.
So all of the ingredients were there. It's just that the strange thing is, people like Ken Davey, who was interviewed at the beginning, want better and more coverage, and they want personalities. It's very hard to create a personality when they're effectively on a Zoom call where the Wi-Fi's breaking up and somebody's flushing a toilet in the background. You need to do it respectfully, and it wasn't last night.
You should have done the Lachlan Coote call this morning. It was brilliant, kept breaking up. No one's fault. What's stuck out at the start of it, and I've written about this, and it may get into the magazine, you'll have to find out next month. Super League needs a charismatic front person, male, female, whatever, who can come out, say some fluff words about stuff, how everything's this, that and the other. Ken Davey's obviously a very successful businessman, far successful than I'll ever be, unless I go into politics, and I might be outbeating at that. He's kept Huddersfield afloat for God knows how long, in the face of people seemingly not caring in the town. But he's not a charismatic frontman, and that's not his fault. But he shouldn't be up there at the start of the programme saying whatever he said, because I switched off. That's just We need
I think
somebody.
if he said the words Osho Ole, it would have gone down quite well. But yeah, no, I mean you are right, Rich. I mean I think we've been saying that the sport for.
It sounds like
for
it's a
years.
personal criticism of him, but it's
No,
not.
I
mean,
think the
he's in a
other
position
thing
he's in.
about
I
Kenny,
think Robert Alston, sort of spoke about that.
Stockport County's Bob Elston.
But he never kind of put himself forward, or engaged with the media. So, as you said, Phil, it's one thing to say we need personalities, we need. You actually have to do something.
Yeah.
You have to change the way you operate. You have to open yourself up.
I think there was another glaring anomaly in the Loch Lomond spirit of Rugby League or Super League award, because
the rugby union.
It may well have gone to the right person.
He works for Leicester Tigers now.
But he's not exactly.
Yeah.
Castleford.
All that highlighted to me was there is somebody that you're talking about a spokesperson, you're talking about somebody who is known outside of the game. The game has dispensed with that person in the period where we're now giving him the Spirit of the Game award, which he deserves, but it just highlights what we have done wrong as a sport, that he isn't involved in it.
Yeah, I mean, I've written before about the brain drain, and it happens across all areas in rugby league.
Absolutely.
And it's another example of Kimmonson Field.
And if you're going to have an awards ceremony, and it can't be the glittering tuxedo wearing one that you would want, although it could have been, because there has been I think there's been a film premiere. Some guy called Bond has had people on a red carpet.
He likes rugby league. He was on.
He was.
But
so you could have had something, admittedly pared back to what it might have been. Yeah. The very least it should have been was filmed in a manner in which those people who were fated felt like it was something really special.
As has been pointed out last week on Our League, they did the Championship and League One awards in the Betfred Jury or whatever it is.
And then you look at, I think I saw it because you retweeted it, Phil, but the video piece, I think it was about 5 minutes on Catlands, which is obviously filmed in Perpignan, but the production values were great. It was
that's been done by Super League.
Yeah, so I mean, it just goes to show, we do need to present ourselves better. And I think, in fairness to Sky on the Thursday night, they had obviously a studio in Manchester, didn't they? I thought that they did that really well.
Yeah, flew Jenna out there so that there was somebody on the ground that could convey, as
really
she brilliantly did, how exciting it was to be there. And the contrast between Thursday night and what we want the competition to be, and last night with the awards that 4020 Live could have done as good a production.
We've done a draw now, we can do everything.
Was in some ways was sad. Because we should not ape everything that the NRL do, but one thing they always get right is making grand final a week of celebration. And even though it was in Brisbane this year and it was 2 Sydney teams, they still had the teams in the square, they still lit up buildings.
Grand final breakfast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We should have Monday night, Man of Steel. It's a prestigious do that leads you into the grand final.
I don't understand why the Dream Team wasn't announced in the same event. Why would you not? Like a Dalian.
Just make it part of something.
Yeah, because I mean, as we knew, we could have probably predicted who was going to win every award, but the Dream Team was, for me, there was a couple of surprises in there.
Yeah.
It was mostly, pretty well known, but you could switch a couple of players around.
I also think our players would really respond to that kind of thing, because it doesn't happen very often. So they feel very uncomfortable. I once saw Alex Walmsley in a car park before one of these, desperately trying to work out what a bow tie was and how the hell you put it on. He didn't like it, but when you were talking about it to him, he was the prestige that goes with having to do that once a year makes it really special.
Yeah,
makes them feel special. I don't think we did that last night. There wasn't even any excitement when it was announced who'd won each award, because the recipient was in screen, and the winner is, there's Sam Tompkins watching. He must be the winner. Even the opening of an envelope and the reading of it out, there's an excitement to that. Even if you know who it is, we missed out on all of that.